Welcome back to our YouTube channel. I hope you are all fine and you have watched the previous video lecture that was regarding the micro teaching. Teaching is a complex process, as all of us know, and it comprises of various specific teaching skills. So, through micro teaching, the complexities of our classroom are being reduced, and there are different skills then mastered by each people teacher. So, the first thing is that we should be known about what is the skill and what are the skills which are being used in teaching learning process. The teaching skill is a specific, we can say it's an activity or a procedure that a teacher may use in the classroom, and these are related to the various stages of the teaching, like we can say the introduction, the explaining, or the closure, how the teacher has to close her teaching. In the continuous flow, the teacher gives a performance using these teaching skills. So the teaching skill is the activities or the behavior that's being produced by the people teacher or the teachers in the classroom. Now the question arises that how many skills are involved there in the teaching learning process to make the teaching learning process, we can say, the interesting one. There are so many researchers who worked upon to identify the several set of components or the teaching skills which a teacher has to use in the real classroom. Some of, we can say, the skills or the terms used for the different skills are a little bit common. So let me tell you that Allen and Wren in 1969, they have 14 skills involved in the teaching learning process. Likewise, the Brog and his associates in 1970, they have given the number 18. And in Indian context, we have the B.K. Pasi in 1976. They said that there are 21 skills that a teacher uses in a classroom. And NCRT has given us the 19 skills that a teacher uses in the classroom. So all of these, they have started from the introduction till the closure of the lesson, or we can say till the classroom management. Like we are having the skill of stimulus variation, we are having the skill of set induction, we are having the skill of closure, we are having the silence, we are having the skill of reinforcement, fluency in making the questions, or we are having the skill of probing questions. We are having another skill, that is the use of the higher order questions. That's also the skill how the teacher uses the divergent questions, how the teacher recognizes the attending behavior and the non-attending behavior, how the teacher uses the illustrations or the examples, how the teacher is lecturing or explaining the things, how the planned repetition is there in the classroom situation, and the completeness of the communication. These all come under the teaching skills, we can say. So we will be discussing, and we have already discussed at the face-to-face classroom some of the teaching skills. I am going to recapitulate those teaching skills because some of the students have missed that class. So the first skill which we have discussed in the class, that is the skill of set induction, skill of explaining, skill of reinforcement, skill of stimulus variation, skill of probing questions, and skill of closure. Let we first discuss about the skill of set induction, which is also known as the skill of introduction. How the teacher introduces the lesson to the students, that is a skill or that's an art that has to be mastered by the people teachers. So the skill of set induction. The skill of set induction, it's also known as the skill of introducing the lesson. It's an art how the people teachers use, or the teachers use, the verbal and the non-verbal behaviors in the classroom situation, how they use the teaching aids or the learning aids in the classroom, how they use some suitable techniques to make the students realize that how important lesson they are studying, and they have to establish the positive rapport with the the students. So that these all things are involved in the skill of we can say set induction. Now this skill of set induction, it involves like the student teacher or the prospective teacher, it will be able to utilize the previous knowledge and experience of the students in setting the platform for the new knowledge. And this skill enables to maintain the continuity of the ideas and the information in introducing any new lesson to the students. So there are some components which are there in this skill of set induction. This is the utilization of the previous knowledge or the appropriate devices and techniques that the teacher uses in the classroom, and maintaining the connectivity between like the previous knowledge and the future or new knowledge. And one more is that we have to show some relevant verbal and non-verbal behaviors to the students in this skill. So these are the four components which a teacher has to show in the skill of set induction. The first component is the utilizing the previous knowledge. As you know that it's not possible for a teacher to teach the students the new topic without the students knowing that concept previously. So the new knowledge is based upon the previous knowledge. So teachers have to take the help of the previous knowledge to give the students the new knowledge. This previous knowledge, it may be in the form of the experience of the students that they have gained, or it may be some concept that they have already learned in the previous class. A teacher has to acquire this art of utilizing the previous knowledge and experiences, and has to take care of some things like the knowledge of the subject, or we can say the people who have already acquired some knowledge in the previous classes, and how that previous knowledge is the base for the today's present session or the present class. The teacher should be having the awareness about the students with their physical or the social environment in which they are. The teacher should be well aware about the techniques or the devices by which he has to explore that how much previous knowledge the student is having, the techniques of establishing the links between the previous knowledge and the new knowledge, right? So there will be we can say this is the ability of creating the situation in the classroom to use or utilize the previous knowledge or previous experiences by the students. So after that, we are having the one more component, that is the use of appropriate technique, use of appropriate devices. As we have already discussed about the devices in our classroom and the techniques in our classroom. So devices are you have homework, you have so many other devices, illustrating devices, your illustrating techniques. So as a teacher, it's essential to acquire this ability that how you can use the devices or the techniques for introducing the lesson in your classroom. So you can use the questioning device, you can use the narrative or we can say narration in the introduction. You can even use a storytelling device. You can use any audio which will aid in the introduction, introducing the lesson. You can even use some sort of demo lessons or demonstrations, or we can say the dramatization. You can use the examples, and by which you can teach or you can make your students able that we are going to learn a new lesson. And the third one is the maintenance of the continuity. If we don't maintain the continuity in the introduction or in the ideas that we are presenting to the students, so our concept will not be understood by the students. There should be the logical sequence between the main part of the introduction. Like if you are asking the questions to the students, one question may be related to the another question. So there should be some sort of continuity in the questions. There should be the we say that you have to properly relate the previous knowledge or the previous responses of the students with the new knowledge of which you are going to give them. And another thing is that is the relevance of your verbal and non-verbal behaviors. What you are saying or what kind of the non-verbal gestures you are showing, those should be relevant to the class or relevant to your chapter. A teacher should try to observe the relevancy of his behavior that he is using to the classroom, like what is to be stated or what is to be asked in the classroom, what is to be demonstrated or what is to be dramatized or what is to be illustrated. These should be taken care of by the teachers. So there is a force, there's the relevancy of the behavior or the non-verbal behavior of a teacher. A teacher should try to observe the relevancy of his behavior, that what he has to tell in the classroom, what he has to state in the classroom, what he has to ask to the students, what kind of demonstration or dramatization, what kind of illustration he has to use that will contribute towards his introduction of the lesson to the students. So he has to take care of some things like while testing the previous knowledge, when he asks some questions, what questions he need to ask, or when he is trying to utilize the past experience of the students, how he has to use that past experience of the students. He has to establish the rapport with the students, and he has to make the students feel that the lesson they are going to study is much more important, and he has to pinpoint the objectives or the aims of the lesson, why they are going to study this lesson. These are the components which as a people teacher or as a teacher you have to use in introducing your. So here is the model lesson, how the people teachers have to make the model lessons for the demonstration. So you have to make the 3 columns, like one is regarding the micro teaching of your teachers' activities, what kind of activities you are going to do in the class, and the activities of the students that will be there, what the stimulus you are giving, that there will be the response on part of the students, right? And which component you have used, either you have utilized the previous knowledge or you have maintained the continuity, or there is the relevant verbal behavior or non-verbal behavior, which component you have used. After this model lesson plan, you have to make your micro lesson plan on the Set Induction. After that, we are having the observation schedule, how the observers will observe or how the observers will rate your skill which you have demonstrated in front of them. Because this observation schedule or the rating scale, by this we can say that our students who have demonstrated the lesson in front of the observers have to reteach the lesson or they have mastered that skill. There are 3 columns in the observation schedule. The first column is the components that or the behavior which the people teacher has used. Second column is the tally marks which the observer is making while observing the lesson, and the third is the rating scale. For example, a student has utilized the previous knowledge 5 times, so we give the 5 tally marks. and we rate him on the scale as 5. Likewise, the student has used the appropriate devices or the techniques in the introduction 6 times, so we give the 6 tally marks. So we rate him as 6, and he has maintained the continuity 4 times, and we give the 4 tally marks, so we rating scale at 4. And he has used verbal and non-verbal, relevant verbal and non-verbal behavior, for example 5 times, so we give 5 tally marks and we rate him at the 5. And then we add up the tallies, that is the total of rating of this. We have 5 plus 6 plus 4 plus 5, and we have how many components? That is 1, 2, 3, 4. So we divide this by 4. This is how we calculate the total rating of the skull. So here the total rating of the skull becomes like 20 divided by 4. So the total rating of the skull is 5. So we can say that it is somewhat good. People teacher has, we say that he is good at skill of the set induction or introducing the lesson. So on the basis of these tallies, on the basis of these calculations, we can say that either he has to reteach the lesson or he has mastered the skill. This is how we observe the lesson plan of a student who is demonstrating. So this is about the set induction.
If you like this video, don't forget to give the thumbs up to this video. Share this video with other students so that the student community get benefited from this video. If you are new to our channel, don't forget to subscribe our channel and press the bell icon to get the new notifications of our videos. Thank you very much. God bless you.